Oh my God.
I continue the struggle. Struggle the double my
Oh my God. You know it's JEJE Vibe.
JEJE Vibe.
You know it's JEJE Vibe.
JEJE Vibe.
You know you feel the vibe. Cause it's JEJE Vibe. Ladies
JEJE
and
Vibe.
gentlemen, you know I got the queen with me.
Mm-hmm.
My amazing queen. Today we're going to be talking about plenty things and plenty nonsense.
You get plenty things we're not supposed to happen for this life.
Chee!
Plenty things.
Crazy.
Plenty nonsense. My people, plenty things we're not supposed to happen for this life.
Facts.
Plenty things.
Chee!
Plenty nonsense.
Plenty nonsense. Let's start with plenty nonsense. You guys saw the video that started this video.
France is broke these days.
And they are giving us
And they are
testimony.
telling us that they are allergic to poverty.
Yeah, they are allergic to poverty.
Playing Nigerian song, oh.
For our Nigerian president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he was welcomed in France in a grand entry, grand style.
Red carpet.
Red carpet rolled out. For him and his wife and other delegates. You know, Nigeria, when they are going, like, they park themselves. There were so many. Even the governor of Lagos State was there. I was like, what are you doing here? But anyway, all of them just got there. They were all there. Grand entry, while they are giving them grand throwaway from other African nations.
France, which was a major colonial power in Africa, is now turning to English-speaking nations to renew ties. Its former colonies, like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria's neighbor Niger, have cut ties and have turned to Russia for security and aid after military coups in all of these nations.
They're kicking France out of other African nations.
Yup, because they've been colonizing them for the longest. Even the military, the security that they were supposed to provide is not even working.
Crazy.
Now, Senegal is the latest Francophone country to announce that it wants France to close its military bases in the country. Then Chad in Central Africa has also ended defense cooperation agreement with France. So, in an effort to reverse all of the suffering, France is pivoting toward non-French speaking nations. Macron, who came to power in 2017 with an agenda to revive ties with Africa, visited Nigeria in 2018, Ethiopia in 2019, and South Africa in 2021.
So other African countries like Burkina Faso
Ditching them, even as far as some of them still print their money in France.
Martins. Imagine your currency being printed in another man's country. In another country, in a foreign country, not even an African country, foreign country. Like
You
France.
continuously owe from the money that it's printed for you guys to spend in your own country. How does that work?
Mad. This is what France has been doing. And Nigeria, plenty nonsense. The
Hey,
head of
your
state-
neighbors now,
crazy.
your neighboring country now, the ones that form umbrella on your head, trying to free themselves from their colonial master, But Nigeria is busy getting in bed with them.
Mad.
While Nigeria's neighbors and other nations in the region are shifting away from Paris, it is still seeking to build ties. Nigeria under Tinubu, who's assumed power in 2023, is battling soaring inflation and food prices. And more than half of the country's population is living below the poverty line. So for Tinubu, the visit represents an opportunity to tap economic investment. But despite all of the challenges, Nigeria, which is Africa's most populous nation and a leading oil producer, is significant for France. Nigeria was France's #1 trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa in 2023. While other West African nations battling Islamist insurgency have kicked French troops out, Nigeria could become a key partner for French counter-terrorism operations. For years, Nigeria has been plagued by various jihadist groups, including Boko Haram. Nigerian president is also the elected head of the West-backed West African bloc of ECOWAS. So partnership with Nigeria could be crucial strategy for Paris to recover from its declining influence in Africa.
But this is France. France right now is singing testimony for having this deal with Nigeria.
My testimony, my testimony. I don't chop, I don't testimony. I don't testimony. Hey! Now my testimony, testimony, my testimony. I don't chop, I don't testimony. Hey! I don't testimony. Hey! Je m'appelle Chop Money. Hey! It's good to be saving for rainy days.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes, they have the MOU in place
with France. This is crazy times.
History, and your government, is really profoundly transforming the Nigerian economy. That's why France, aside from our historic relationship and the role we already have, wants to do more in sectors like energy and others, in industry, in new technologies. We have, along with the President and his ministers, outlined several new areas of activity.
Now, Tinubu's visit to France is seen as an opportunity for both the countries. For the French president, it is an effort to revive dwindling ties with African nations amidst a series of setbacks in West Africa. France, which was a major colonial power in Africa, is now turning to English-speaking nations to renew ties.
This is really crazy times. Another plenty nonsense. I don't know if I can call it plenty nonsense. But let me just call it plenty things. Did you see what happened in Finland?
What we do is not determined by an individual. When the spirit of Biafra leads us, we move non-stop. So we are in the Independence Week. It could last a week, it could last 2 weeks, it could last 3 weeks, it could last a month, but that 29th of November is sacrosanct. And there was a reason Biafrans decided to shock the zoo, and we did it. Because of the history of this Biafra Republic government in exile and de facto, because of the lies and some of these little things they did to our PM, we can't trust nobody. We can't. Don't trust me. I'm not begging nobody to trust me. Yeah, and I'm not gonna trust you, you know? But we, as Biafra, we are gonna start to learn to trust each other. So, on behalf of our Prime Minister, His Excellency, the Obatobie, the Peace Ambassador, Anonkan Kampi, His Excellency Simon Eber. We Biafrans, we thank you and we greet you for bringing freedom to the United States of Biafra.
The United States of Biafra was declared in Finland. For those of us who were not born during there was a crazy war that happened in Nigeria. The
Biafra War.
In 1960, Britain, the colonial power, granted independence to Nigeria, a diverse country with hundreds of ethnic groups. But at the time, Nigeria was dominated by the Hausa people in the northern region, the Yorubas in the western region, and the Igbos in the eastern region. But it wasn't long before this new nation, Nigeria, was plunged into political and ethnic turmoil. This involved 2 military takeovers in 1966. And soon, these tensions led to the killings of thousands of minority Igbos living in northern Nigeria. So in the southeast, a military officer called Emeka Ojukwu declared the independence of the Republic of Biafra on behalf of the Igbo people. But Nigeria would not accept this, and on the 6th of July 1967, civil war broke out. And it raged on for the next 2.5 years. It's estimated that more than 1 million people died, most of them from hunger. In 1968, images of the famine were streamed worldwide. Biafran leaders used these pictures to gain sympathy for their cause. Around the world, protesters and celebrities campaigned for an end to the conflict. Back on the battlefield, the Nigerians were stronger and better equipped. And in January 1970, the Biafran secessionists surrendered.
And it was crazy.
They lost. And it was supposed, I guess the region are actually the eastern part of Nigeria, southeastern.
Facts.
New generation of pro-Biafra separatists has reignited the cause. And they hold marches and protests regularly in Nigeria and abroad. Arguably the most prominent group is the Indigenous People of Biafra, or IPOB. Its founder, the British Nigerian activist Nnamdi Kanu, was arrested for his rhetoric in 2015, but his detention has only boosted his popularity.
I've said before, and allow me to repeat, Biafra or death. One of the two must happen.
So now, the United States of Biafra has been declared, naming present some states now have a different name.
Hello, Biafrans. I hereby mention the 40 states of the United States of Biafra. Aba State, Adoka State, Afema Igodomigodo, Ahoda, Abakip Oro, Alanso, Aludo, Anioma, Branem, Calabar, Ebonyi, Ebube, Edo, Eda, Enugu, Epie, Esan Igodomigodo, Ezani, Iden Igodomigodo, Idun Ibon, Igala State, Ibani State, Ika State, Ikemba State, Ikom State, Ikwimisia State, Itayanan, Iwere State, Iwuroha State, Odumegu State, Obuya State, Ogoja State, Ohabuenyi State, Ohuku State, Okigwe State, Omambala State, Olu State, Owerri State, Kwa State, South Atlantic State, Uroba Isoko State. Welcome to the 40 states of the United States of Biafra.
You'll be surprised. You can go over the list. It's crazy.
So that region now had about, I guess, almost 40 states or 24 states. I don't even know. They named the names.
They
State and capital.
like state and capital, new states and capital, which are present states in Nigeria, in the territory called Nigeria.
They also mentioned that they have military, they have money,
Yeah.
you know, they have...
So in this event, to me, because this is just an event,
It is an event in another man's country.
because if you're declaring the states in somewhere else, but not where you're the land in which you're claiming to say this is this new state, I don't know if I should take it serious.
So I don't think this is plenty things where they happen. This one are plenty nonsense.
Plenty nonsense.
If you're trying to claim your region, why do it in another man's country? Far out. You got stand ground,
You
ni.
gotta be home to claim your turf. You can't say, "Oh, that is my turf," but I'm not there.
That is weak.
Like,
Too weak.
like you can't claim a turf when you're not there.
Nope.
You gotta be home to fight for home. So I don't know if I call it. This is plenty nonsense. Like
It
the
is
friend said.
plenty nonsense.
And that's a whole lot of plenty things that's happening in Africa.
Congrats to the French countries for trying to liberate themselves. Amazing.
Should we call them French nations now, or because right now they're trying to even kick that name
Out.
out? So
Yep.
we should call them.
Even
what
their
they are.
judiciary system are beginning to ditch their
Change.
uniforms.
Yeah, facts.
If you really think about it, it is off.
So they don't want to even call themselves French nations anymore.
They don't.
That's why they're kicking the French out. They want to be able to determine their own future for themselves. So countries like Mali,
Burkina
Senegal,
Faso that led the
Chad.
revolution.
Niger, they're trying to carve their own way. So let's see how it plays out. But it's going to be a long road, but I guess when you're consistent in your own dream, I guess you start to see the reward.
What an amazing time to be alive.
Amazing time.
We would see new nations formed.
New things are going. 2024, a whole lot of things are happening even before the end of the year. But Tinubu has gone and signed Nigeria's future to France. How do you guys feel about it? If you're Nigerian, drop your Nigerian flag on the comment section. How do you guys feel about it? Tinubu taking us
I am disappointed.
huge disappointment.
That's weak for a president.
Huge disappointment.
You shouldn't be putting the fate of your pupil in another man's hand. Yes, I said it.
Huge disappointment to the book. I don't know what this relationship is going to yield, but from what we're seeing from other African countries trying to kick these people away, I wonder why you go and meet or sign a deal with them when you're brothers.
Whereby you still have
brothers are
somebody
kicking
still
them away.
colonizing you.
It's crazy. Like, what are we doing? Are we going to be able to determine our future as Nigerians?
Putting your own people's future in another man's hand.
Oh man, it's crazy. Anyway, guys, drop a comment. Let us know what you guys think about this video. Plenty things and plenty nonsense going on in Africa. You know it's JEJE Vibe.
We move.
JEJE Vibe. JEJE Vibe.
It's gone.